era that will never be forgotten. Things will never be the same. And not only are spaceships landing and being caught in midair, AIs are turning into lovers. People who speak different languages are talking to one another as though they were fluent in one another's language. The babblefish, the automated workforce that shows up to Zoom calls, the automated interviews that create your next great book, where an AI questioning you susses out every distinct aspect of your worldview. We come to build all of it. You all have a fantastic opportunity today. A number of companies, OpenAI, Cartesia, have released these real-time speech-to-speech systems that create the ability to build unforgettable and incredibly important technology, things that nobody could have imagined a meager 2 years ago. And so, welcome to AGI House, and it's a joy to spend the day with you inventing. So what are we up to? We are part of a very creative society. The idea is simple. Instead of living with yourself in a one-bedroom apartment, you invite 7 of your entrepreneurial research and hacker friends to co-rent a mansion at which you host incredible and charismatic hackathons, building technologies that you are all fascinated by. And so this is the original AGI House Hackathon shot. September 3rd, 2022, AGI had just been released. So you might ask, oh, why is it called AGI House? Well, there's an old definition of AGI, which is about generality. And we've been releasing general systems for years. So as far as I'm concerned, we have really turned the corner, and that's why we have this name, and we really have phenomenal openings. So this is, for example, Aravind Srinivas, who was still at OpenAI, building Perplexity at a hackathon much like this one. You sit in a seat from which it's possible to build the next great speech-to-speech platform. So do seize the moment. My roommate, Andre Karpathy, and I got this epic mansion. We've been running massive events for the last 2 years. And in part, it's because we have a great culture. Silicon Valley has a great culture. What do I mean by that? There's a deep sense that we have a different body of assumptions about how this world is supposed to work, a different level of ambition, a conceptualization of the founder. Someone has a founder mode hat over there. What is this idea? It's that the great founder can enter a scenario much like this one, have some creative idea or instinct, turn it into something real that everyone around him finds value in, and in propagating it to the masses, create companies worth billions or tens of billions of dollars and totally transform the way that everyone does something that they used to think that they understand. And there in general is this kind of spiritual techno-utopianism, this sense that we can create any kind of future that we can imagine, and that the only limit is our agency and our creativity and our willingness to go to the ends to make sure that our will is seen. And there are very few cultures like this. Silicon Valley has this gold rush culture which really feeds into the sense that you can come from nothing. You can come from another country, you can come from another religion or ideology to this place. And from this place, become anything, and there is no boundary. There's total class, mobility. You can basically go from being a nobody or nothing to having, to live out of your basement or out of your car or out of a garage, to being one of the most powerful people on the planet. And so it is in that spirit that I christened the real-time speech-to-speech hackathon. Please do fulfill the intention of the hackathon, which is to ship a fantastic speech-to-speech product. And we're gonna have a few speakers coming up, but let's hear it for a day of creative invention. And so with that, so briefly, I'm going to go over the OpenAI Real-Time API. So I guess a request for everyone who has your computers in front of you. We're gonna go through OpenAI, Cartesia, Zoom, and Outspeed processes. So do have your computer open and be ready to receive links. Raise your hand if you're not in the Slack. if you did not make it into the Slack, but you're in this room. Okay, so are all of you on the email? Can you please go to the email and join the Slack as quickly as possible? Because we're going to be sending a bunch of links into the Slack in real time, and we're going to expect you to, for example, onboard to Cartesia and call their API, just so that everyone is up and running with every technology and there's no question about how to use it. So the first overview is on the OpenAI Real-Time API console. So first of all, a big thanks to OpenAI for sponsoring the hackathon with many thousands of dollars in credits that should already be in your accounts. And unfortunately, our OpenAI speaker may or may not make it to the end of the event, but I'm going to walk you through how to set up the OpenAI Real-Time API, because it's different in many ways from most APIs that you're probably familiar with. The first thing is that it is a JavaScript-centric API, and it comes with a real-time console. And so if you look at the Slack, the most recent links are to the platform and to the real-time console. If you open up the real-time console, then you'll see that it basically runs with NPM. So do go ahead and clone this console to basically get yourself up and running with a simple example of sort of real-time use of OpenAI. And it contains a lot of the details that you'll need, relay server, the packaging and setup, and the source files are a really nice sort of hold your hand introduction, and really modifications of this real-time console are, as far as I can tell, the fastest way to get to production with a sort of real-time OpenAI project. And so at channel, and the intent, if you're a Python developer, is to get your hands wet with some JavaScript today. So do not be afraid to expand your horizons. The second major OpenAI put is this documentation set. So they basically walk you through setting up a socket. And if you're just a backend dev and you're not as familiar with sockets, basically it will open a connection that is live and constantly sort of paying attention or monitoring to your machine. And this is via a new WebSocket API. So you give the URL, in this case, this is a 4.0 real-time preview, and you open this WebSocket. It's stored in a convenient JavaScript variable for you to interact with, and it has a few calls. So on the opening of the socket, you can log the existence of the connection and send a default response. And then you can manage messaging that move across the socket by just saying on message, so when a message is received, which in this case will be from some speech input on your sort of front end, then you can have the backend be interpreting that and be running, in this case, GPT 4.0 with a prompt of interest on whatever came out of your front end. So on the front end side, you want to set up some sort of standard HTML for interacting with your website. And in this case, you open the socket connection. You want to do some error handling, but the central thing is basically when a message comes in, what do you do with it? So you can set up a prompt that you like to interact with, but the major thing is you want to set up a listener that is waiting for either the submission of a form or the reception of some message, and then potentially create a textual response and send that to, a textual representation of the message and send that to the OpenAI API. So do take a look at the front end and back end, and in this case, it's not doing very much on receiving the message, but you can make calls in the loop, that kind of thing. And so, these are the simple tools that OpenAI has laid out for us, and I think that their speech-to-speech platform is 6 voices, some of them really high quality and compelling, and obviously you've probably seen their Dev Day launch and all of the quality content that came out of that. So good luck with the OpenAI real-time API. So after me, there'll be 3 more talks. So one from Outspeed, one from Cartesia, and one from Zoom. And we are basically going to onboard you through those. So be prepped with your machine for those calls. And I guess I should also say a word of thanks. So the way this event got together is Sahil messaged Kyle, my roommate and friend, and he said, we're trying to do this real-time hackathon with Zoom. Let's get a bunch of folk involved. So we brought in OpenAI and we brought in Cartesia. And so let's hear a warm and thankful round of applause for the existence of the event to Sahil and Manocha.
Let's get started. So one thing for all the links I've set up. So yeah, by the way, I'm Sahil from Outspeed, and thanks Jeremy for helping organizing this event, and thank you to AGI House for hosting it. We're gonna go through a demo of Outspeed and see how it's set up. If you wanna get the demo links for all the partners, you can go on sdshack.notion.site, and that has all speech-to-speech links. All right. So again, it's sdshack.notion.site. Cool. So Outspeed sets the backend for real-time AI applications. We set up a serverless backend so you don't have to write the backend in a few lines and deploy it using our CLI. So for getting started, I'm going to go through a quick tutorial. And we have integrations with OpenAI, Cartesia, other providers that you can use to set up with their API keys and use the real-time endpoints and build your app. So yeah, let's first start with real quick start. You can go to docs.outspeed.com to get started. And first thing you want to do is set up a Python environment if you don't have one already. So let me just deactivate this one. But if you have one, just feel free to use that. Call it. You want to make sure that the Python version that you're using is over 3.9. It's not older than that. Once you have it set up, just enter into the Python environment and then install Outspeed. So pip install. The Celero extension is required for interruptions. So essentially when we set up a voice bot that you can talk to, if it detects interruptions, then it will stop talking at you. Otherwise, it'll just keep talking, right? Even if you're talking back. So yeah, let's get started installing it this way. And you want to make sure that the version that is installed is 1.5.1, right? So the way to do that is just use this line instead if your pip cache is not updated. Now once that's done, we will build using the OpenAI real-time API here. So you want to make sure that you have the API key ready. And this code essentially sets up the three functions that are required for the backend, right? So there's a set of function where you set up all the models. So this could be a vision model, a speech model, it could be Cartesia, Lemon Labs, or the OpenAI real-time API. And once that's set up in the run function, you will define the workflow that the input voice or text or video will go through. And so here we can see the run endpoint receives an audio input and a video and a text input, right? And we pass that through the OpenAI real-time node that we set up in this function. And we get an audio input and a text input out, and we send that back to the front end. And we'll go over how the front end works after this. And the teardown function essentially is when the conversation is over, how does the cleanup happen, right? So one thing we're gonna do is just copy this code. I'm gonna create a new file. And to run this, I'm just going to make sure that the OpenAI key is already in the environment. So, let's see. All right. So how it works is this. It will set up a function URL, which is this endpoint, the streaming endpoint, which is going to receive all the voice and video and text inputs that you're going to send. And on the other side, you're going to set up the front end. We've already set up a playground for you. So you go to playground.outspeed.com. You enter the function URL, right? So it has to be localhost to avoid the CORS issues. Since we're going to interact using WebRTC, there's a WebSocket endpoint as well. So instead of streaming endpoint, we can use a WebSocket endpoint, and that would be the WebSocket connection. Once you have it set up, you want to choose an audio device that you'll use for input. So you can connect, if you have a Mac, it'll be connected to your phone as well. And let's start. Hey, how are you? Let me start this again and see how it works. Hey, how's it going? Okay, I think my API key is not. Not that much of a secret, I guess. Hey, how are you?
How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
Glad to hear that. What's been keeping you busy lately?
All right, so essentially we set up, if you go check the docs, you'll find how to set up, say let's go to Cartesia real quick. The API for both OpenAI, Cartesia, and other providers looks the same. You can either set up the API key in the environment or in the node setup, choose the voice ID, the model, and for OpenAI, you have a system prompt as well that you can set up. If you want to set up tools, the tools tutorial goes over how you can create a search tool, for instance. We're using Exa here. So it gets the voice input, searches the web, and returns the output via voice. And on the front end, you want to use React components for the WebRTC and WebSocket. So really, the way to set it up is just install Outspeed React library. The use WebRTC hook uses a function URL. So in this case, the localhost 8080. Or if you want to deploy it, do it Outspeed deploy. To get the API key, just go on app.outspeed.com. And this is where your real-time app is running. So this is essentially the streaming endpoint. And you can plug that in the WebRTC component here and embed it in your Next.js web page or whatever JavaScript page or React front end. Yeah, that is Outspeed. So if you have any questions, you can go to #Outspeed on Slack. And if you want the API key, just DM me on Slack and I'll send you an API key to deploy it. Cool, thank you.
Was it possible to create an API key hackathon-wide or send a distinct API key to each email address that's at the hackathon?
I'll send one to everyone who asks in the Slack, and we'll set up a hackathon-wide one as well. But there's limits to how much one account can deploy.
Mm-hmm.
So if like 50 people are deploying, it just doesn't scale. And also, yeah, if you want to use a talking avatar, so since Outspeed allows for both voice and video applications, you can use DeepReal's integration, and the code is linked here in the STS hack.notion.site.
Hi, welcome to Outspeed.
And you can set this avatar up to get the DeepReal endpoint. So the way it works is there's about 10 avatars available right now, and we're giving it on a need-only basis, right? So you can reach out in the Slack again for this, and you'll get one endpoint for your team. So you can run the avatar and build applications like a therapist, an interviewer, and so forth. You can hook up the DeepReal avatar with Outspeed. Outspeed will receive your voice and video. It'll call the avatar, and then whatever the avatar video response is, you'll send that back to the user. To do video inputs, you'll just select video input device here, along with the voice input, and run with the endpoint where your application is running. Cool, thank you.
Okay, and with that, we will have the CEO of Cartesia, Karan Goel. Let's hear it for Karan.
I'm gonna spend like 90 seconds talking about the company, and then we can get to actually doing a lot of the setup and stuff. And Kabir there is also gonna help me with some of the API setup. So hopefully everyone can hear me. So I'm Karan. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of a company called Cartesia. We are an 8-month-old company, and we are basically working on building always-on intelligence. So essentially, the goal of the company is to build models that can remember information over indefinitely long periods of time. So basically ingest as much information as you want and then be able to endure over very long time scales, like imagine years, and then you're talking to the same system. Looks like my laptop's about to die. Is there a charger here? And what you're gonna be able to use today is our text-to-speech API. So it interplays super well with a lot of the other tools out there. Obviously, you saw the demo earlier where you can integrate the Cartesia real-time API, and I'm gonna show off how to set it up and also some of the cool things you can do with it. We will also have a speech-to-speech API at some point in the next few months, so watch out for that. So that's coming soon. Some of the cool things that we've been doing are spent the last few years doing our PhDs building these new architectures called state space models. And so all the models that we build are built with this new architecture. I know the Wi-Fi password here is attention is all you need, but hopefully we'll be able to change that password in the next few years. Cool, so let me actually just get to our playground super quick. You can go to play.cartesia.ai. That's the fastest way to sign up. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, did not charge my laptop, which was a mistake. Okay. Once you sign up to the playground, you'll be able to see a bunch of tabs here. So some of the stuff that you can do with the Cartesia APIs is customize voices, localize them, really kind of get the exact voice that you want for the application that you're building. And so I'll walk you through a quick example here. So I'm going to do an instant clone. I actually grabbed a clip of Oppenheimer just right now while I was waiting. And I'm going to grab this clip. If you want a snippet of code that pulls in any YouTube video, just ask me. I have a small shortcut. But you can clone any clip, and it takes only a few seconds. And now we have Oppenheimer, so we can see it works. Thank you so much. You can do that.
I have become death destroyer of worlds.
So you can take, I don't know if you could hear it, but let me try.
I have become death destroyer of worlds.
Okay. So you can basically take any voice clip that you have and turn it into a custom voice clone. The other cool thing then is you can localize this voice. So I can take this Oppenheimer voice and I can make it speak in German. So if I go to if you see the localize tool on the left, you can click it, take any voice, turn it into any accent or target language that you want to get like a more hyper-local version of your application, maybe an avatar or whatever it is that you're trying to build. Once it localizes, you can use it to talk.
Es freut mich, Sie kennenzulernen. Ich hoffe, Sie haben einen schönen Tag.
And underneath this, we're running the real-time API. So all of these generations are coming from our API. Let me call Kabir, and we can actually start setting up the actual API. But this will get you at least to the API keys, which are on the left here. And I believe you have a discount code you can use to upgrade a subscription to your startup tier. So that's called AGI House SF. I think it's in the Notion that we're sharing. So you should be able to have more credits and be able to build. And if you want more, just come to us and ask us. You want to come over super quick? Right. I guess I don't need my charger anymore. And yes, we are related.
Hey guys, I'm Kabir. I'm a product engineer at Cartesia, here to walk you through how to use our API. So real quick, this is a QR code that goes to this getting started guide that has a ton of information about how to get started with Cartesia, how to integrate with Twilio, how to use it with the front end, everything. So just scan it. I'm going to give you 10 seconds.
Probably 20 seconds.
Okay. All right, awesome. Now you can airdrop it to each other or something. So I'm gonna walk you through how to do your first generation in Python. We also have a guide for using curl or JavaScript/TypeScript. So real quick, I'll go right over here. I'll just for the purposes of this guide, go to my Cartesia playground. Real quick, Go to API keys. This is after you signed up. Put in AGI house. Grab my API key. So I think Karan may have walked you through this, but just to go over it a little bit again. All right, so now that I have an API key, I'll install FFmpeg just for this tutorial. So go to warp, run brew install FFmpeg. Awesome, it was already installed, so perfect. Then we have this like getting started with Python guide. So I'm just gonna go into my code editor and just kind of follow this guide in front of you guys. So the first step is to install the Cartesia and FFmpeg Python packages. FFmpeg is not something that you need to know, it's just for the purposes of the guide to be able to convert audio formats and stuff like that. So I have my Python environment set up, so I'm just gonna do add Cartesia, FFmpeg Python. I like using UV. If you're using pip, just do a pip install. Awesome, so it's installed. We have a little script here that just connects to the Cartesia API, uses the barbershop man voice, which is a calming barber, to do a generation. So just gonna take this very simple file that does a generation using the WebSocket and then saves it to a wave file. So just paste that into my editor and then use the API key I generated. So the API key I just generated, uv.hello.py, and oh, I did not save it. So save your files first. There you go.
Hello, welcome to Cartesia.
And yeah, that's a quick tutorial. There's more tutorials on how to get started with JavaScript, do Twilio, a bunch of other stuff in our guide. Thank you.
Any questions before we head off? Oh yeah, there is a question.
What's the relation between state-based models and choosing to do generative audio first?
Oh, choosing to do generative audio first. We are pretty interested in thinking about memory in the context of these models. So audio is a really nice or a simple signal where you can start to explore like longer sequences. So that's kind of why we started working on audio. Yeah.
How do you feel about long runs?
Pretty good. Yeah, I think we're pretty much the runt of the audio litter right now. We shipped our product like 3 months ago, but it's been doing really well. I think highest quality, fastest, cheapest. So try it and let us know how it is.
Okay, many thanks to Cartesia. We have a talk from Ojus from Zoom. Zoom is obviously something we've been interacting with, some of us on a daily basis for a decade. I know it got us through the pandemic, and there are so many experiences that I expect will run through Zoom. I have so many corporate calls through Zoom, it would be insane to talk to a copy of myself. Cartesia has voice cloning, to clone my voice, and give people an experience of a super intelligent but totally aware of everything that I know variant of me. Please be inspired to build something like that today. Let's hear it for Zoom.
Welcome everyone. I know it's a Sunday morning and everyone still showed up. This is like a good number of people that have showed up today. So give a pat for yourself on the back for waking up on a Sunday morning and coming here. Thank you Sahil for having me and Zoom here today at this hackathon, and thank you to AGI House for hosting us. My name is Ojus. I do like a lot of roles at Zoom. Currently, I'm a part of the DevRel team at Zoom. This week, we had our annual Zoom conference, which is called Zoomtopia, and we announced RTMS, which is real-time media streaming, that can give access to your meetings, audio, video, and chat to a developer so that they can build their own solutions on top of our meetings platform. The bad news is it's not available as of today. So what in this tutorial, what we are going to do is I'm going to show you on how you can use our Linux SDK and bring a bot to your meeting that can give you near real-time, not real-time, near real-time access to basically like your meeting audio. And then once you have the audio, you can go ahead and build your solutions today in the hackathon. So let me quickly walk you guys through on how to do that. And then if you have any questions, I will be here for most of the time today. Okay. So first of all, and I have provided all the guidelines here in this document, but what you want to do is you want to clone this GitHub repo. Once you clone this GitHub repo, once you clone this GitHub repo, go to the file and then go to marketplace.zoom.us, click on develop, click on build an app, general app, hit create. Just select this user managed option for now. Go to embed section, enable your meeting SDK, and then go ahead and download the Linux SDK. Once you have downloaded the Linux SDK, go back to your code and go to the source. Go to the lib/Zoom SDK file, and once you have extracted the folder, the Zoom Meeting Linux SDK, copy all these contents and paste it here. It might take some time. Once that is done, go back to the basic information part, grab your client ID. You might find a sample config.toml file. Just rename that to config.toml file or create like a new config.toml file. Where it says client ID, paste your client ID. Where it says client secret, paste your client secret. And then what you want to do is you want to go to your Zoom.us account. I'm assuming everyone has a Zoom.us account today. Log in. Go ahead, create a meeting. Once you have created a meeting, actually, I'll just go here. Okay, yeah. Once you've created a meeting, you will get like this invite link. Copy this invite link and just paste it here. Save the file. One more thing that you would need is you would need to have Docker installed. Why Docker? Because we are running, so again, as of today, you don't directly get access to your raw audio from your Zoom meetings, because again, anyone who's not a part of the meeting cannot get access to the audio. So what we will be doing is we will be running our Linux SDK in a Docker container, and that Linux SDK will be joining your meeting as a bot. And that bot will be having access to your real-time audio. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run my Docker file. Docker compose up. It will take some time to build your Docker file if you're doing it for the first time. And let's again, I don't know why it's taking so much time. And in the meantime, I would recommend you to go ahead and start your meeting. I'm just going to join from my browser.
This meeting is being recorded.
I'm not sure why it's like having issues running, but basically once it works, you will basically see like a bot that is trying to join your meeting. You will have to give it like real-time like access to your local recording, and it is basically like recording your audio from like a Linux system, and whenever you speak in the meeting, it will basically generate this audio.pcm file. The challenge for today is, once you have access to the audio file, what are you going to build with it? The best implementation of Zoom will get a $250 gift card later this week, and that's not it. We have a meetup tomorrow at our Zoom HQ. You will also get a chance to demo your integration to all the attendees that are virtual and in person. And you don't have to be there in person. You can also attend that virtually and demo your app. Any questions? Okay. Perfect. Thanks, guys. I'll be here if anyone has any questions with the setup and other things.
Yeah, so for the hackathon, we'll announce the prizes at noon, and also there's a $50 gift card for every team that uses Outspeed. Cool.
Sure. Can I get 1 second? Sure. Hey guys, so I had paused my Docker container, which is why it was not running.
It's working now.
Yeah, it's working now. So I'm quickly going to show you how it works. So what it will do is it will basically try to run. And again, if you're doing it for the first time, it will take anywhere between like, I don't know, up to like 15 minutes, depending on a lot of things. And let me see. Okay, so now you can see that this bot has joined the meeting, and while I'm speaking, it's generating this audio in a .pcm format. So now again, as I said, like the challenge is, once you have the audio, what are you able to do? That's it. Thanks, guys.
Okay. So, wow, that is very long. Give me 1 second. So, this is the moment in the talks where we go from the presenters to the hackers. So we're going to have a lightning talk series. Every lightning talk is a less than 1 minute lightning experience of what you are intending to ship at the end of the night, so that you can attract group mates, teammates on your idea. So in the spreadsheet, we have an option to give a lightning talk. There's a speech-to-speech hackathon spreadsheet. It's also the same sheet where we will be doing demos. So if you are interested in giving a lightning talk and have already signed up there, I will have you go first. If you haven't signed up in the spreadsheet but would still like to pitch to the room, then we can have you after the fact. And looks like people, yeah, so actually, raise your hand if you're interested in pitching your product. Okay, great. So form a line going this way, starting here, behind him, And I'll be basically here at the timer. Do make it clear through your pitch, one, what you intend to ship. So every pitch should basically be about a specific project that you're going to work on. And in the Slack channel, make sure to, after you give your presentation, tell everyone what you're working on. I'll try to keep a record of it, but you have basically a Slack handle that people can message. So that's going to be a really convenient way to find you. So let's let the hacker lightning talks begin. 1 minute.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Breck. I do a lot of things in Hawaii, but today I just want to do something for fun. I used the Cartesia thing last night. It was fantastic, and I think it'd be a really good way to make a new type of game that you play with your voice. So I was thinking, like, you give a scenario to somebody, like to the bot, and you gotta like calm down the bot. The bot's really angry or something like that. There's plenty of things we can do, but basically I'm just gonna make a game, just totally fun, new project, and that's it.
Okay, let's hear it for game 3. Yeah, actually, there are incredible possibilities with video gaming and speech-to-speech. So, yeah, do think deeply about it and launch something incredible.
Hey y'all, my name is Jake. I have been thinking a lot about this API and kind of what it means to me. For me, the real-time API signifies a departure from screens, from having to always look, at a device. And so it's transforming that into an audio experience, essentially. So with that, connecting more into your environment, this goes into one of my ideas, which is a tour guide, essentially, where wherever you are has your location data, and it can see essentially where you're headed to, where you're walking, and it can kind of give you information about your environment, so historical data about the neighborhood that you're in, the street that you're on, so wherever you are, there's plenty of really historical places here in SF, so walking around, I'm like, what's going on? What is this restaurant? Oh, this is a famous place over here. Oh, that's really cool. I wish I knew about that. But so it'll kind of help you get around and understand your environment and just connect a little bit more deeply into your environment without pulling you away from that environment that you're trying to enjoy. So I've already spun up a little, app template that I'm working on right now. So, if anybody wants, let me know. My name is Jake, and yeah.
The intersection of GPS data, your real-time location, and speech-to-speech sounds super promising. So,
yeah.
Good luck.
Hey everyone, I'm Samuel, and today I'm really looking to build something to support children with speech impairment, support their speech learning, and I think there's quite a bit of potential here, where, for example, especially for like younger children, they're very familiar maybe with their parents' voices, and or maybe someone that is close to them, and we can actually do a voice clone of their voice and basically do some form of therapy that is cheap, affordable, and accessible for more people. So that's really the idea that I'm looking into and what I'm interested to build today. So hit me up, I'm Samuel. Let me know if you're interested to build with me. Thank you.
Truly fantastic idea to turn learning into a speech-to-speech experience. And I think language learning is going to transform for sure, but every other form of learning can also be fantastic, where kids are talking to these super intelligences from birth. So, amazing to see it. It's for him now.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. My name is Jacob. I came here from Los Angeles for Tech Week. First time being in a tech environment, so it's super cool to like be able to be here and talk to you guys. So yeah, I just kind of whipped up. I just want to have fun, and so the real-time API is really fun. And so I actually kind of like while I was here, I just whipped up like a quick little thing. I just connected the real-time session to Vision API, and it just roasts you. So you just get roasted. So I'll try to do a quick demo, and I'm gonna get roasted in front of everybody. So we'll see how that goes. So I'll just do it from my laptop. You guys should be able to hear it.
Ready to get roasted or what? Let's dive into the fashion disaster. Cue the roast mode.
Okay, really quick, if you can hear me, can you say dinosaur?
Dinosaur.
Alright, cool. So I'm here in front of a bunch of people. I'm kind of nervous, but will you go ahead and roast me?
Whoa. Your fashion sense just triggered a system error. Listen so I can unleash some serious roasts. Give me a sec. All right, let's do this. You're rocking that plain black t-shirt, like it's an invisibility cloak, except it's not hiding your lack of style from anyone. Curly hair on point. That outfit's so basic, even a mannequin would shrug. You're like a background character in your own life story. Plot twist?
Alright, thank you. And one last thing, can you say something nice, or are you just like always a mean person?
Sure thing. Here's something nice. It's off.
Wait, I just want to interrupt you, just to prove a point. Okay, go ahead.
Haha. All right, you got me. Here's something nice. You've got the confidence to stand up in front of people and ask for a roast. That's bold. Rocking that courage is always in style, 100%.
Thanks, guys. So if you guys want to work on thanks. So if you guys want to work on that, just come find me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so first of all, awesome demo. It's okay if your demo leads to a hackathon pitch, so please do actually make sure it's a hackathon pitch. And it's okay to do something that's not speech-to-speech, it's pure speech output too. So if you think about everything. With that said, let's go.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Sparsh. I think mine is a little bit more serious in a way, I guess. I want to approach B2B kind of a product. I'm building the first AI engineering manager. So in a way, you know, there's a market opportunity that I noticed. I work at Google as an ML engineer, and I also went to Columbia for my master's in ML. So basically, I started looking into it, and I realized that a lot of people had the same complaints about like managers being overbooked and you know, also not having that much technical visibility into what engineers are working on. But you know, my priority isn't what, you know, maybe some other tech companies like DevonAI or anything are doing with replacement. My focus really is on augmentation. So I started thinking about, hey, what is an area of the kind of environment that really needs this support? And I realized that startups, you know, they have this limited budget. They would rather hire engineering talent or product talent rather than engineering managers. So there's an opportunity where, you know, you can offer a cheaper kind of product, and the tech is actually quite interesting as well. Right now I'm looking into avatar integrations using the Unreal Engine, and then also some cool LLM stuff, and there's great applications for speech-to-speech. So come find me afterward if you're interested.
Hey everyone, I'm Eric. Have you ever been in a class discussion about a reading? Raise your hand. Did everyone actually read it? Did everyone remember it? So I'm in a weekly reading group, and we have the same issue. We read short stories, and they can be a little complicated. And oftentimes we go around and someone's like, oh, like I think the turning point was when Bob frobnigated the vase, and then everyone is like, what's frobnigate mean? Like, was there even a vase? And people just are kind of lost, unfortunately, which makes the reading group, makes the discussion just less enjoyable than it could be. And I think real-time speech is potentially the perfect fit for solving this because it's so low latency. So imagine you're going around a reading group and you're like, oh, like, chat, what is this vase thing? And there's just a quick answer. And so I think that could make discussions both for reading groups and also just in general flow much better and feel much more magical and enriching. So Yeah, I'm Eric. Come get me. Come find me.
Quick reminder, please do put a Slack comment about your project so people can contact you over Slack. Thank you.
All right, hi. My name's Justin. I have an idea that's a little more simple, but I enjoy reading blogs, and one of the motivations for this kind of real-time audio is making the blogs kind of be more interactive. So I remember growing up and listening to like Khan Academy, and there was always just the voice, like kind of the narration made it a lot like easier to kind of follow. So I think for this, what would be great is to have something where you can input a blog post and essentially you have like some kind of real like sounding sort of audio. We also know that Outspeed has this kind of avatar clone integration, so I'm thinking maybe even having sort of like a clone on the bottom. A lot of times these tutorials have like some kind of person speaking on the bottom right or something like that, so that could be a cool idea. It's also a good sort of motivation for me to write more blogs, so hopefully I can try it on something that I write. All right, thank you.
Do make us all into better bloggers. So much great content that's not out there.
Hi, I'm Gershon. So what I want to do is, do you ever get nervous when you're preparing for some meeting? You've got a meeting with someone important, perhaps to land a job, perhaps to sell something, or perhaps even a date, and you want to prepare. So my idea is we have an app where you can rehearse your preparation, or you can role play essentially with the voice app, whatever that meeting is. We can have a research module to find out about that person, Google them, look up all their information, try to simulate them as accurately as possible, and then you can simulate the conversation with the real-time voice, get some feedback on how you can do better and be better prepared. So when you're not nervous and shaking in your head, you can also be getting prepared instead. Thank you.
I really believe that the best way to prepare for so many experiences is real time, whether it be your interview for your startup at YC or conversations that are about a language prep. So the limiting factor is the embarrassing and kind of awkward request to have someone interview you, and that should be solved. So good luck. Hopefully you can skill us all up.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hey guys, I'm John. I used to be a high school English teacher in my first career. So I think the first ideas that I had that really jumped out to me were all around literacy and student kind of self-paced interactive assignments. So 2 ideas. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. If anyone grabs me and convinces me to do one, I'm all ears. One is phonics and literacy instruction. So my last year teaching, my 9th grade English class had an average reading level by grade of 4th grade. And just like having an engaging, motivating content expert there to read with you, whether it's an English paper or even a history paper, and then having an output that you can grade in a rubric. So any transcript you can then run through and have it graded pretty intelligently for interactivity or engagement in the reading. Then you can also apply this to much younger kids, like think 5 years old through 8 years old. Hit them in the sweet spot for phonics instruction. And kind of give a booster shot of literacy on a iPad that's talking to you, supporting you, and then also giving your parents, teachers very accurate, up-to-date information on your literacy needs.
Yeah, in my opinion, the entire education process could be centered around speech-to-speech, and testing the learning process itself are certainly great examples. John has a really concrete use case, and so I expect him to come out with something great.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I was thinking of, or rather I'm inspired by the idea of improving my restaurant experience. So usually I end up going to restaurants, especially fine dining ones or Italian or French, and I always crumble under pressure when the waiter is next to me and he says, "What do you want?" And I just never choose anything new. I always go for spaghetti and meatballs because I just don't understand the rest and I don't want to waste that time asking dumb questions and pronouncing it wrong. So I want to work on a AI waiter who would just come as a robot or it's just an app on your phone. You can talk to it about the menu. It gives me nice descriptions of the menu and of the food, of the specialty of the restaurant based on some reviews, etc. And it can also talk to me in the dialect or what that restaurant represents. It could be an Italian restaurant. It could be someone called Marcello talking to me about like linguine and anything but spaghetti and meatballs. So I'm excited to work on that. If anyone's interested, hit me up. My name is Alex.
Future of dining. Super into it.
Hey there, hi, my name is Goel, and essentially the idea I have is to somewhat related to split personalities, or maybe not that extreme, but if anyone has seen the TV series Severance by HBO, you know, it basically revolves around having your work personality sort of switched off from your personal life. And the way I see it relating to our lives is, you know, we have our work life, of course, but then internally as well, we have different teams or different clients where we don't want to sort of divulge information from one client to the other. And then coming to the family aspect of things, you know, whenever I talk to my parents, my grandparents back in India, they don't really care about my work or my life struggles. They just want to know how I am doing in life. In general, just am I eating food well? Am I happy? What am I doing outside of work? So essentially what I plan to do is have these personas based on the template I choose, and then, you know, I can have this one go and talk to my family, this one go and talk to my boss at work, because the boss won't care about what I'm facing with my family, what I'm celebrating with my friends. So just something around that idea. If it relates to what anyone want to work on something similar, I'm happy to sort of change the idea as well. We'd love to hack on this. Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Bharat. And if you've been to hackathons before, you work for 2 days straight, and at the end of the day you're tired and you're walking like a zombie, and you want to present your stuff, and it becomes harder because your brain is dead and you cannot want to speak what you want to speak, and you miss some critical spots that might get you the prize, or you win the hackathon. Not just for hackathons, and I'm a person who gets nervous when you get to the stage. Right now I'm nervous too. In front of a lot of people. I'm sure some of them are like that too. So for that, I'm trying to use the Realtime API to develop a presenter. I'm gonna call it pitch perfect. So I wanted to present for itself, control the slides, do whatever I would do but better. But I think it's not nervous, so I think it could do a better job than me, but be useful. Yeah. If someone wants to find me, I'm Bharat.
We have an interactive presentation. Great. Last but not least.
Hey y'all. Let's get silence for our last presenter. Thank you.
Hey y'all. My name is Alex Denuzzo. So back about 10, 15, 20 years ago, on your daily commute, you typically listen to like a radio station, hear about what the news is, what's going on in the world. Nowadays, we do that sometimes, mostly in podcast form. And then we also listen to other forms of podcast and other sorts of speech media, audio media. But I don't really listen to the news in podcast form that much. I mean, it's not that interesting. It's kind of short. They barely go into depth in most of the stories unless you actively pick one out prior to going. But then you have to go and actually read through it. It's annoying. So what if instead there was an automatically generated podcast that was curated to your interests and presented you with news updates on stuff that you actually care about. So not just global news, but also, hey, what's going on at my university, or in my neighborhood, or what's like newsletters in my inbox, that sort of stuff. So if that's something that you think is interesting, come talk to me.
Hey guys, really quickly, raise your hand if you've tried this at one point. Okay, we all agree that this sucks, basically. My objective today is to make something useful out of this. So basically, we plan to put OpenAI Realtime API on this, using the hardware is great, but the software is just trash, so we gotta make it good. If you know C, Flutter, or wanna just hack onto this, just let me know, ping me, my name is John, I'll be around the house. That's it.
Sorry, what is that thing?
It's a
rabbit. Yeah.
Let's hear it for John. Okay, and for my own hackathon project, I'm a big fan of books, but most of the great books have not been written because the people who have the knowledge that you most want do not have a way to get it to you. But in my mind, the speech-to-speech AI tech that lets you have an interview where you have a deep and detailed conversation about your worldview, about your technical knowledge, with an AI that recursively crawls through your writings and through your responses and crafts high-quality questions, is the secret to unleashing something like this. So what is this? This is an Amazon best-selling book written through Omniscience. It's a book generation system, which is one of my company's products. And we have this ability to write the book in a high-quality way, but what we're missing is all of the knowledge that the specialists happen to have. And so I'm gonna build an interview system, and the interview will proceed in a deep way. It could go on perhaps for half an hour, perhaps for an hour, as you are asked question after question after question about your beliefs. And so if you'd like to create a book at the end of the day with our system, hopefully it's done and works. And if you'd like to hack it together with me, come forward and hopefully we can collaborate. Thank you. Okay. Historic moment in technological history. Let the hackathon commence. There are a few logistical details. So there's a bathroom in this corner. There's also a bathroom all the way downstairs in the basement. Actually, full context. So you are currently sitting in AGI House SF, which is a 4-story, 6,500 square foot mansion with gorgeous views of San Francisco. And 3 of the 4 floors are open for hacking. So this floor is open, the floor below it is open, and the floor below that is also filled with hacker space. So do distribute yourselves throughout the house. Make sure that you're in the Slack channel. If you're not, come up and make sure you get in, because I'm gonna be announcing lunch, dinner, and the details of our prizes. There will be a lot of messages about sponsors and how to use them. If you have questions or you wanna connect with people, the Slack is the way to do it. So do prepare yourself on that front. Yeah, all of that said, the amount of glory that is produced today is up to you. Demos start at 8 p.m. And so we all have 8 hours to produce something of historic value. Good luck, and let the hackathon commence!
Can we try back first?
Are you gonna be here or?
interview process basically like to structure the foundation of the book. And then on a section by section basis, we do return the product. And then as part of the outline, we should say what's in each section. So that's a real function. But the outline is a book that's filled with your ideas. And that's what we do. That's the intention. The simple version of it is just like outline I'll add channel right now. So, what do you need to do? Because you're seeing like the first. Are you ready? So, the console is. I just open it make a function. I don't have to use it. Now you need to do something. Put it on I really like this because my dad was saying, he's like, dude, you should I think so, because I was going to take time and draft something. And it's, I guess, I've also read it. Don't have the skill to but we know a lot.
One of the, I just think of like a Somali's case, like, obviously, you do world elections and stuff, but I think about like, my mom who's my great grandfather, making a podcast at the time. It's small, but
and you can hear this transcript of the story. AI will do the interview.
Just start. Okay, send me the
right now.
Sorry, I didn't really hear what you said about what you're saying.
Oh yeah, so you almost did if it's just enough, that it violates the intention. So Lightning Talk is not like a company or I just made it. Okay, to be clear, the version of the Lightning Talk is like here's the demo, here's what Lightning Talk is. That's what you do. Sometimes you just so you need to be clear, you just say so your final second point is that you want to come up on this oh, okay. I mean, oh, okay. I think it's totally trans. There's a lot of edgy cases around judgment. What else? Oh, interesting. So basically, I mean, the nice thing is that I don't know, all sorts of
Yeah, it'll describe the
So, name an interview.
Interview I have. So, your vision, you see this in your books, right? No.
I don't know, this is just the general project is how to get all of people's knowledge out of their so books are done on the other, but there are a lot of other ways. The interview to blog post process, the interview to read, and we will attach it to a book as the first step.
So today you are just conducting an interview,
as long as you're focused on actually
I think it's really complicated. Joe Rogan has a different style. But I also think those are just flux. But that Rico name, interview AI, do you guys like it? No, I don't think so. What do you think? I think you can make I don't know. Can I say why? Oh, you were grinning like an idiot. You were so happy. It's a real problem. Yeah. Oh, no way. Okay, I think there are so many.
That's a good name.
Oh, okay. I don't know about the size. The Socratic method is very specific. But make sure you have joined the Yes, yes. I saw that. Yeah. So, do you want to collaborate on it? Yeah, so we're basically all going to do supporting the company. And so general on your phone. And we're going to have a lot of Oh, cool. Okay, too cool. No. It's all good. I'm also not